Welcome, everybody, to the October 18th Father, Son, and Holy Sport NFL show. I'm G-Man from Ohio with my man, T Money. What's up, T?
What's going on, man? Glad to be here. Excited for another week of NFL football, baby.
Yeah. We had a big week last week thinking about the game with the Chiefs and the Bills.
Huge
the
one.
Big game. What'd you think? What are your takeaways from that game, man?
I feel like the Bills think it was the Super Bowl and the Chiefs are just going to keep rolling and be the underdog. I think it worked out right for everybody, it kind of feels like. So I'm very interested to see them meet in the playoffs. Josh Allen can win all he wants in the regular season. You know, like we hold Lamar and all these other quarterbacks too. You got to win in the postseason. So until you beat the Chiefs in the postseason, I don't care. But it was a fun game. It was a really fun game.
It is a fun game. Seeing those two go at it, man, they are something else. The last guy with the ball wins the game.
Yeah.
And the Bills come in as the favorite for the Super Bowl, and they go out as the favorite to the Super Bowl, winning the big game in Week 6. And now Mahomes, do you know Mahomes has never played a road playoff game?
Yeah, pretty crazy.
That is going to be amazing to see. Can he do it on the road?
Yeah.
Always is at it at home. Bills are on a bye this week, and they're at the top of the AFC. The Jets are behind them. How about that, man? The Jets still hanging in there.
Yeah, crazy to see the New York teams playing well.
And speaking of divisional battles, we got the Colts and the Titans this week. That battle for the AFC South, one of the big games coming up this week. What do you think about that one coming up?
I think it's going to be a horrible game. It's not going to be fun to watch. So not looking forward to that one. That's not on my watch list.
And the other watch list game is the Chiefs at the 49ers. Chiefs favored by 3, 4 p.m. Sunday. They fallen behind Buffalo. The 49ers are contenders in the NFC, but they have to win this game to stay with it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. See both of these teams coming off a loss. This is a big game for both of them for sure.
49ers 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 home games. Watch out, Chiefs.
All right.
Watch out, Chiefs. Hey, y'all do us a favor. Press the like and subscribe. We appreciate your support. Let's roll into the Ross Rundown. Team Money, what's your view on the number 1 seed in the playoffs now? If you had to predict, would you take the Eagles or would you take the rest of the field?
All right, so we're talking NFC here for sure. And I will take the Eagles over the field because they already have a 2-game lead on everyone. And the Vikings are the only other team in the NFC that have only 1 loss, but their 1 loss is to the Eagles, so they own the tiebreaker. Right now, Philly's in a division that is very winnable. The Cowboys, they've already got a 1-game lead on the Cowboys as well. The Giants I love, but this Eagles defense is legit, and then the Commanders obviously aren't great. Very hard to find 4, 5, 6 losses on this schedule. It's a very soft schedule. The offensive line is great. The defensive line is great. And they might have the best secondary in football. With how dynamic Jalen Hurts is playing, I don't see anyone else getting the 1 seed, and I'm not saying they're going to be contenders for the Super Bowl because Jalen Hurts was bad in the playoffs last year, but 1 seed, I would pencil them in right now, almost with a Sharpie.
Okay, for the number 1 seed, but you're not going to say they're going to win the NFC.
Not in the playoffs. I'll say it'd be the number 1 seed.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're not picking it for the playoffs. You have to win the NFC.
No, just number 1 seed.
Okay. Well, you're not going that far then. And number 1 seed, they're 6-0 right now. Their next 3 opponents have losing records. They're 9-0 if they just win those 3.
Yeah.
So good shot. They're going to do that. So I'm agreeing with you here. The Bucs, the Vikings, the Packers, and 49ers, all those teams we thought would be up there. They're in the second tier, and trailing way behind them is the Rams. Rams still on the outside of that group, just trying to get into the NFC picture.
Yeah, but they weren't even, didn't even win their division last year. So them being the number 1 seed, I don't think was ever even part of the picture. They just got hot at the right time. But we'll see what happens with this. I think the NFC is going to be a lot more, AFC, is going to be a lot more competitive than the NFC. I think the Eagles run away with this one for sure. Bucs, Packers, everyone kind of looks out of sorts. The Niners just lost to the Falcons. So NFC's wide open more than ever, contender-wise, but number 1 seed-wise, I think the Eagles got it locked up. I want to move to that Falcons team, though, that just beat the Niners. All right, that was a big win for Mariota and Arthur Smith, who everyone's kind of been questioning now. Is it time to start considering these guys actual playoff contenders instead of contenders for the number 1 pick?
Are they contenders? Yes, but will they win that division? No. They're not going to win that division. The Bucs are tied with the Falcons right now, 3-3. It looks good on paper, but the Bucs will continue to get better. They're 2-0 in the division. The Falcons are 0-2. That's going to hurt them in the division. Their in-division record will hurt them. If they want to win and get to the playoffs, they've got to do it through the wild card. So who are they up against in the wild card? Right now, the 3 NFC spots are the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Rams. So they're going to have to somehow beat those 3 teams. And the Packers are ahead of them. So they got a long road here to make the playoffs. Can they contend? Yes, but make the playoffs, man, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it will be. But, the Bucs look out of sorts. I don't trust the Packers. The Rams look like Stafford's arm is about to fall off. I mean, there's a lot of questions with a lot of teams. So I know the name is daunting when you hear the Rams and when you hear Packers and when you hear the Bucs. None of them are rolling right now. So there's definitely a chance that they can get into this wild card. I mean, if they win this weekend, Packers, Rams lose, I mean, they're game up all of a sudden. So I think that this is truly a contending team. Mariota's kind of having a bounce back year, hoping he wasn't going to do that because I wanted Ritter to get some reps here. But yeah, I think they're definitely contenders. I'm not talking division. I think the Bucs will get it together, win this thing. They're too talented, even when they play bad, to win.
Come on, Brady, let's go, man. Get the Bucs going. So Team Money isn't saying this stuff, Brady. Yeah. Come on, man.
So Tom, it'll be interesting. But I definitely think they're playoff contenders now. They've kind of a big shock. I thought they'd be the number 1 pick in the draft this year.
Hey, Atlanta travels to Cincinnati at 1:00 Sunday to see if they can get a win on the road at Paycor Stadium. Team Money,
come on!
You're moving right next to there. You want to tell everybody that you're
I got to view the stadium from the balcony, so I'm going to be doing a lot of live action reporting.
Team Money, looking for some tickets. Want to get in the stands at Paycor. Team Money and G-Man. Hey, Atlanta's an impressive 6-0 against the spread this year, which includes a straight-up win over the 49ers last week. But the Bengals are favored by 6 here against the Falcons. And the Bengals are 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 home games. So Bengals look like they might get a victory here against your Falcons and knock them back down a peg.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go to the NFC. Packers. They've lost 2 in a row. They're 2 games back in the NFC North. What do you think is wrong with that team?
Everything. I'm trying to think at all levels here, right? At every level, I don't see any bright star, right? Their defense was supposed to be really good. I don't even think they've been good this year. Their offense was supposed to be fine with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's the 2-time defending MVP of the NFL. And you're telling me you lose 1 great receiver and it's over? I mean, Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill. All right. And other teams are losing their star receivers and they're fine. But this guy is falling apart. He's blaming everyone else. They have 2 dynamic running backs. They refuse to run the ball, it seems. Matt LaFleur's offense is all of a sudden not creative. And if you're telling me that they were just throwing 17 passes to Devontae and that was their offense, well, this guy's not as good as we thought. And he was kind of setting records for most wins and, NFC playoff wins as a first-time coach, blah, blah, blah. Well, it seems like it's all been for nothing here. I don't trust this team at all. I'm worried they won't make the playoffs at this point.
Man, that should have been the Randy Shrug and chant right there.
Yeah, Randy might have to.
That's good points there. You're bringing up awesome points there, but that guy, Aaron Rodgers, had a fire in his belly the last 15 years. He was fired up. I just don't think he has that fire anymore. He's trying to be this little hero that goes down as someone that everyone likes in Green Bay. He wants Green Bay to love him so much that he doesn't have the fire in his belly. It's not that he doesn't have the talent. He's one of the greatest of all time. He doesn't have the fire. That's what I see. They're stuck in a rut. Their offense is not doing it, just like you said. They managed just 10 points against the Jets at Lambeau.
That's embarrassing.
And they're not running the ball. A.J. Dillon's almost droppable in fantasy.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Packers are at the Commanders this week. They should be favored by, I thought it was going to be 7. It's only 3.5. They're favored by 3.5. against the Commanders. That's how far this team is falling.
Yeah, without Wentz.
And they are not good on the road. The Packers 2-4 against the spread, including 1-4 against the spread on the road. So they could be in trouble here if you go by history.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how this turns out. I just think he's got to stop blaming everyone but himself. Take some responsibility here.
You got an attitude problem.
So
You always have.
I don't trust these Packers one bit. I mean, they could miss the playoffs. That's
could.
kind of where it's heading right now. Minnesota looks solid enough to hold this lead. And so I'm going to lean towards right now them being the last team into the playoffs or missing the playoffs the way they're playing right now.
They're number 8 right now in the NFC. So they're out right now.
Yep. Well, let me move to a team that just beat the Packers 2 weeks ago. The New York Giants been playing great right now, but early ballot, if you got one, is Brian Daboll your coach of the year?
Well, he's one of the front runners.
Give me your list.
You like that. You like
Give me
that.
your list. I know you got one. I know you got one.
One of the big things he's done is unleash Saquon. He's got Saquon going, and without Saquon, that team's not going to win. Saquon 3 game-winning plays in the fourth quarter this season. He's doing it, man, and he's unleashing it. And the guy's got a lot of great qualities. But yes, other coach of the year options. I got to look at the Jets, man. We were shooting down the Jets early in the season, but they've been one of the surprise teams here. The Jets and the Giants, they both won again. They made an investment in that draft. And you look at their 2 rookies, for example, Sauce Gardner on defense, Brees Hall on offense, could be both rookies of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, not only making a chance and going after it in the draft, but picking 2 really high quality guys. And there's others, but I got to think the Jets are up there in contention with the Giants, their coaches for coach of the year. If you look at is the coach exceeding expectations? Those would be my 2. If you're looking to do the best coaches, I'm going Kansas City. I'm going Buffalo. I'm going Philadelphia. Those 3 are cream of the crop, I think, in terms of best coach.
Yeah. I mean, I could see Nick Sirianni winning it. I don't know cream of the crop. If you want to put Nick Sirianni with Andy Reid and these guys,
No.
I think that's let's pump the brakes a little bit here.
But Philly had a good year last year.
But that's what I'm saying. That's a coach of the year type of guy. If they win the 1 seed, I think they would get it. Now, 2 other guys I'd like to mention, Arthur Smith and Pete Carroll. I think
Pete Carroll, Randy
Carroll,
shot down Pete Carroll.
I think he's having a crazy bounce back year. Everyone
Randy.
thought both those teams would be contending for the number 1 pick, and here they are. But I think Brian Daboll's leading the pack right now, purely out of expectation. All right. Yes, the Jets are good, but they had to be, or else Robert Saleh was going to be fired. The Giants just hired Daboll. They already matched their win total from last year. They're 5-1. And this guy looks like he's turned around not only the team, but the culture there. Everyone's buying in. Kayvon Thibodeau was crying on the sidelines after this win this past weekend. These guys are legit. We liked Brian Daboll coming into the year. I didn't think he was going to be this good, this fast. He makes Daniel Jones a capable quarterback. Is this guy going to get a long-term deal or something? Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I think he's leading the pack with Nick Sirianni and Pete Carroll. Those would be my guys, because Falcons probably won't end up good, and the Jets have to be good, or else Saul is going to be fired. So I don't.
He's doing good so far.
Yes, I think Brian Daboll is leading the pack just out of expectation.
Love Brian Daboll. He's got the players love playing for him. Yeah. That's always a great sign. But winning can cover up a lot of things. You keep winning, of course I love playing for you. But I love what's happening there in New York. Hey, the Giants travel to Jacksonville Sunday, T-Money at 1:00. Jacksonville's favored in this one by 3. Can the Giants do it again as a dog and win this game outright? We will see.
Yeah.
Hey, the Ravens start the season 3-3. They're tied with the Bengals to the top of the AFC North, believe it or not. They're tied up there. Are you worried at all about Lamar and the Ravens? They have that first place, just very slight edge right now, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's been concerning to see how they've been finishing games. The secondary is very banged up. So let me start with that. They should get healthier on the defensive side. They're also starting Kyle Hampton. He's a rookie. I think that's been the biggest thing, is their secondary has been letting teams back into the game, right? That's not acceptable. But let me tell you a stat here. Lamar, since he took over the Ravens starting job, was 31-2 in games he led by double digits in the second half. This year alone,
And he should be.
he's 2-3. So that's not good. He's not been playing well at the end of games. He's got to be held accountable, and he's got to stop having turnovers late in games. It's what's killing them.
Yeah.
And I think he will clean that up. But good news for them. Like you said, division has kind of been weird where everyone's been bad at the beginning of the season. So they still are atop the division. And yes, they're 2-3 in these games, but all three of their losses mean that they have been up by double digits in the second half versus good teams. So they're clearly a
potential's there.
good team.
Yeah.
Right. So I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think that's a done deal. And I think that they can get this cleaned up and get everyone on board, healthy secondary. J.K. Dobbins is banged up, get better rapport with these receivers. I think they're going to be fine. I had them as my favorite to win the division this year, and I still think they will. So they clean this up. They're fine. They're still playing well, I think.
Well, I love everything you said. You're very talented. You know your stuff, man. I got to give you credit. But I don't know if I agree with you there on making the playoffs. They are at risk of making the playoffs here. Last year, they were 8-9. They missed the playoffs 8-9. This year, they're 3-3. They don't look good. They could go 8-9 again. They could go 500 again. 10-7 makes the playoffs. They got to get to 10-7, and they're 3-3. They're heading toward the same kind of record. If they don't clean it up, like you said, they got to get it rolling. A lot of the same issues affecting them. Injuries affected them big time last year. The running game and some of the other things you mentioned. So they need to win that division to make the playoffs, and they're going to have to go through Cincinnati. And I think Cincinnati wins that division, man. So I don't know.
It's going to be very interesting to see it come down to the wire. But I do think either way, both teams are going to make the playoffs. I think 10-7 is the floor for both these teams. It's just been a weird start to the year. But I want to still talk about someone in that division. The Steelers played the Bucs this weekend. It was a weird game where the Bucs were favored by a lot. And then Kenny Pickett goes down. Mitch Trubisky comes in. The Steelers win that game versus the Bucs. Shocker to a lot of people in the NFL. What's your main takeaway? All sides, Bucs, Steelers. What's your main takeaway from this game?
My main takeaway is the Tampa offense. The concern with the Tampa offense. That's my number one takeaway. That offense is not performing. Last year, Tampa averaged 30 points a game. The year before, when they went to the Super Bowl, they won the Super Bowl. 31 points a game. This year, 17. Why is that? Why are they only averaging 17 points a game? They've reached the end zone only 3 times in 35 possessions. 35 times, 3 times in the end zone. They've not scored a touchdown in the first half of any game this season.
Crazy.
So that is their problem. That's what jumps out at me. We can talk about the issues or what those are, but that's what jumps out. What jumps out to you about the game?
I mean, I'm going to have to say I agree with you. I know we don't do that a lot.
Okay.
But I agree with you here.
Wow.
All right. I think the Bucs are out of sorts. And it seems like it almost is more mental and execution than it is talent or play calling. I'm not really sure what's happening. I know the offensive line was a question going into the year after some injuries. So maybe that's playing a big part. But Brady doesn't seem like he wants to be there. They're not able to execute. Their offensive, like you said, not been able to score a touchdown in the first half all year. And they've not been executing any part during any of the season. And even in crunch time plays, they've had 2 2-point conversions the past 2 weeks and failed on both of those. So in high pressure moments, Brady's not been good either. And then to cap it all off, this Bucs defense that was supposed to be elite looked like it was starting the year as maybe one of the best in the league. I mean, you let Mitch Trubisky get 2 3rd and 10 plus first downs on the final drive to close out this game. Mitch Trubisky just runs.
Yeah.
All he does is run for a first down. I would load the box up and force him to throw the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, that was a weird sequence of events there at the end of the game, because I think everyone thought, well, they're going to stop Mitch Trubisky and Brady's going to get the ball back. They're going to go get a field goal. Game over. This has been happening over and over again now. That Bucs defense can't close out games, even though they're holding teams to low points per game.
I think that defense comes through in the end, though, for you, though. I agree with your points. I think it's on the offense. The offensive line may have more issues. We talked about them in the preseason. When they had those injuries. Is that really going to be an issue? It was one of our key questions before the season started. And that O-line probably is not doing as well. You see Brady over on the sideline yelling at them all the time. And he does that a lot. I know everybody out there, you guys that are on Brady, man, all you guys out there getting on Brady, but it's personal. Hey, everybody's got personal situation. Brady will overcome this thing. Don't blame this on Brady's personal life. I know there's a little bit of an issue there. He's kind of losing focus.
Yeah.
I have confidence in Tom Brady. I think he'll get the chemistry there. No, they don't have the chemistry, and people are getting on him. But when people start losing, everybody kind of, you can't turn on each other.
Yeah.
You got to be a team, man. The other thing I'm looking at is, what about the head coach? I look at the last 2 years versus this year. Todd Bowles is the head coach. Is that maybe an issue? Is he not, stepping up to that head coaching role in a way that he needs to?
Yeah.
Is that maybe an issue?
It might be. And I mean, just remember, the Bucs did start slow Brady's first year there as well. They were not in contention. They weren't the 1 seed.
He had a new coach.
They had a new coach. They were, and then they got really hot at the end of the year. So I think everyone is aware that there's a problem right now, but I think everyone also isn't questioning Tom Brady because of his history and that they trust him when it comes playoff time. So I think they're going to get this together.
Yeah.
But it's not looking good right now. Let's just say that.
The good thing is that division is a mess,
Yeah.
and Tampa's at the top with Atlanta. Atlanta could lose. We just talked about it. They could lose this week. Tampa gets a chance here. They're going to Carolina. They are favored by 11. It's the only double-digit favorite of the weekend.
Yeah.
Is this Tampa 11-point favorite? That's big time.
Big time.
They better get that victory. They will get that victory. Carolina suffering with the quarterback issues. They could have someone from the practice squad starting for Carolina at quarterback, and you watch what that Tampa defense does to them.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a second. I heard something. Are we ready? Wait, I think it's time. It's time. Cousin Randy, is he ready? Yeah, let's go. Let's go to Cousin Randy. Cousin Randy, for this week's Chug and Chant.
Hey, welcome into this week's Chug and Chant. It's Cousin Randy here, coming to you live from the cold plains of the Midwest, because it's getting a little cold out in the desert. Let me get this chug in, and then we'll chat. All right, Kyler Murray and those Arizona Cardinals. It is getting cold out there. I know you paid a lot of money for him, but Arizona, you can't tell me you're not regretting that already. I know the GM is. I know it. I can see it. All right. These guys are not performing. Kyler Murray is supposed to be dynamic, and he's not. Okay. The past 4 weeks, scored 16, not good enough. 26, okay, but that's worth the Panthers. They're horrible. Then you're going to go 12 points and then 9 points. 9 points for Seattle. Oh, my God. Kyler Murray has been blaming everybody but himself because all he wants to do is play video games. There's a reason they put that clause in there, and they made a bad move taking it out. Arizona's already regretting this one. It's a bad situation right now in Arizona. Cliff's probably gone. GM might be gone. Kyler, they can't do anything with. Might be a bad contract now. They're already regretting it out there, and it's getting mighty chilly in that desert because I don't see them making the playoffs or doing anything special this year when this was supposed to be the year is what everyone keeps telling me. Cardinals are in trouble. Kyler doesn't care, and there's a problem out in Arizona. G-Man, T-Money, what do you think?
Woo! Randy is fired up. Kyler doesn't care. Oh my gosh, Randy. He is really fired up. It's cold in Arizona. Randy was fired up today.
Yeah, I guess so, man. You got to kind of agree with him. It looks bad right now, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't look like anything's clicking. I think Cliff Kingsbury's personally got to go. I think Kyler's talented enough that this won't end up being a bad contract, even though he looks like he's a toddler when he's running around, right, with that football. He looks like a little kid that like is running from his parents. He's still very talented. So I think they're going to be able to figure this out.
No doubt.
DeAndre Hopkins is coming back this week. I know they lost Hollywood Brown, but to their benefit, it looks like he's only out 6 weeks until end of the year, and they traded for Robbie Anderson. I think the offense is going to be fine. It hasn't looked creative, and Kyler's got to stop blaming the coaches and play.
You think
calling.
the offense is going to be fine?
I think it's going to end up being okay. But the defense hasn't been good. And yeah, I'm not ready to jump ship yet.
Yeah, I don't know about him. I'm not
But I
convinced
think
about that
Cliff's got to
offense.
go. I think Cliff's got to go.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while, and I kind of been agreeing, but he's kind of locked in there in terms of a contract.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, you can do anything you want. Hey, Arizona's now lost 3 of its last 4, and Murray's only thrown 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in that span. So they rank 16th in yards and 22nd in scoring. This team that was supposed to be,
Explosive.
yeah. He's got an 81 passer rating through 6 games, the lowest of his career, Kyler. And everyone's on Kyler. Everyone's on him about the extension. I think what he got paid was fair for what he was supposed to do. He's just not performing, man. And, Arizona's in trouble. And I just want to shout out to Randy. Randy, hey, last week we all got on the Bengals, and guess what? They came through. All of us were jumping on the Bengals last week. Good chant last week, Randy.
Yeah,
we agreed with you last week.
Got to motivate
And
him.
they went into New Orleans and they got the victory. So way to motivate him, Randy. Maybe you'll motivate Kyler this week. DeAndre Hopkins back, like you said, and he can't get back soon enough for this offense. My gosh.
Yeah, it's been atrocious so far. And that's what's been weird is they're supposed to be so dynamic. Kyler just looks like he's out there playing backyard football, and that might get you a 2-point conversion to win the game versus the Raiders. But that's not how you win football consistently. You got to have scripts. You got to listen to your play calling. You got to, be accurate with the football and spread the ball around. He's just not been doing that. So their running backs have been banged up as well. Let's cut them some slack there. They're on their 4th string running back. So they can get a little healthy by the end of the year. I think they'll be okay, but hopefully they can squeeze into the playoffs, or else this could go downhill quick with Kyler and Cliff.
That NFC West is muddled up, and surprisingly, they're only 1 game back. The 49ers, Rams, and Seahawks all tied 1 game ahead of them.
Yeah.
At 3-3, Cardinals at 2-4. They're back out of Thursday night. So they go Thursday night. They're up against the Saints. Both teams 2-4. One of those teams, whoever loses that game, is in trouble. And a big surprise for the Cardinals or the Saints to end up 2-5. We're going to be talking about that next week.
For sure.
That is going to be tough. Hey, let's move on. Let's talk about who's going to win and who's going to lose. Let's go to our big bets, baby. T-Money. We're going to come up with a lock pick of the week, who we think is going to be the lock. We're going to come up with a dog lock, which is an underdog that we think may be able to win that game. G-Man, 5-1 against the spread the last 3 weeks. Woo! Hey, hope y'all cashed in, man. You can send G-Man a hat or something. I mean, I got some hats, but I don't have all the teams. They can send me some other hats, man. You want me to wear your hat on the air? We got our fans love our hats, man. Look at T-Money's hat. I mean, that's our go website, man. Father, Son, and holysport.com. Get a hat like T-Money. How about a shirt like G-Man? Hey, we love you guys. Let's go to our lock pick of the week. T-Money, who you got for the lock?
My lock pick of the week is the Chiefs -3 versus the Niners. All right. I know both these teams are coming off losses. The Niners are really good at getting pressure on the quarterback, which concerns me in this game because Von Miller was a terror in the Chiefs backfield this weekend. And I'm nervous about that defensive line disrupting Patrick Mahomes, but this is also still the number 1 offense in the league. And Jimmy G struggled against the Falcons. Okay. So I don't think, I think they're going to have to put up 25 points minimum to win this game. And I just don't see it with that offense right now. It doesn't seem to be humming. Kyle Shanahan just was horrible at time management and play calling at the end of the Falcons game, something that's typically what he's really, really good at.
Yeah.
Jimmy G's not going to be able to keep up. So I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be fired up after this loss.
Yeah.
They know they can't mess around. If they still want to sneak into this 1 seed, they really got to hope they get on a win streak and Buffalo slips up once or twice. So I think the Chiefs know what's at stake here. The Niners still aren't as motivated because I think they know, hey, we're going to make the playoffs. We're going to get healthy, by the end of the year, but they don't seem as motivated at the moment. I think Chiefs win big versus the Niners.
Okay, that could be. I do agree with everything you said there. I think Kansas City is going to come out and fire the ball around, and the 49ers are going to be playing from behind again, trying to catch up. I'm going to go to Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee, where the Colts and the Tennessee Titans go at it Sunday at 1:00. The Colts getting 2 points. They've earned a much needed AFC South win over the Jaguars last week. They've not got back-to-back wins, the Colts do, but they're 0-4 against the spread against the Titans. And they've lost 5 of the last 6 games against the Titans. I like the Titans here as the favorite, -2. They were on a bye week last week, but they had 3 straight wins prior to that bye week, including a 7-point win over Indy at Indy. Now they come back to Tennessee, where the Titans are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games at Nissan. They're 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 games in October. Give me the Titans, baby, at home to cover the 2 for my lock pick of the week.
I like it. I like it. Great info there. I like the Titans as well this week.
Good. All right, well, let's go to dog lock. What underdog do you like?
My dog lock of the week here, even though I love you Bengals, and I still think you're going to win this. Falcons +6 versus the Bengals.
You are riding the Falcons today.
All right. I like the Falcons here. Like you said earlier, Atlanta's 6-0 against the spread this year, and the Bengals are a horrible first half team. They've come from behind in all their wins. Zach Taylor still isn't a good head coach. I think that they're going to squeeze this one out. It may be a low-scoring game because Mariota is going to run the ball a lot. Joe Burrow has been good in the second half, but these Bengals haven't looked like they're clicking on all cylinders yet. So I think they're still getting used to it. 6 points is a lot to give in an NFL game, especially a team that is 3-3.
Yeah.
All right. They just beat the Niners.
Yeah.
The Niners are a better team than the Bengals. And so I think the Falcons getting these points, I'll take it. I think they lose on a field goal and at the gun. They maybe lose by 2 points, but 6 points is a lot. And they're 6-0 against the spread. I like those numbers right
I
now.
like your pick. And, the Bengals are the kind of team, when they are up, they'll run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. They don't even care if they're getting first downs. They'll punt it. They do not drive the stake in the heart.
They don't.
They've got to get that killer instinct, man. They did that all last year. They win games by 2 points, 1 point, 3 point, last kick. And that's why when you got that many points out there, good pick, T-Money. Hey, I'm going to go for my dog lock pick out to TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, Florida, Sunday at 1:00. The Giants coming into Jacksonville. Giants getting 3 points here. The Jags dropped their 3rd straight game on Sunday. Now they host the Giants, who are on fire. The Jags allowed the Colts to get 34 points against them. Woo. Okay, so now they're 2-4 straight up and against the spread this season. The Jags are. They're also 4-9 against the spread in their last 13 home games. They're only averaging 18 points a game. That's the Jags. And they're favored in this one. Last week, the Giants were able to get a straight up win against the Ravens. They win a straight up. They not only have a 5-1 record, but they're also 5-1 against the spread this year. So with the Giants, I just can't see passing this one up. The way the Giants are playing, give me the 3 points, man. I'll take the dog lock with the 3 points against those Jags.
All right.
Dog lock pick of the week.
I like it, G. I like it. Well, I want to get to my favorite segment of Big Bets. Player prop of the week. What you got for us, G?
I like that you get excited about that.
Yeah, what you got
that's
for
good
us?
that you like that. Hey, I like that game you were talking about, the Kansas City San Fran receiving props for receptions or reception yards. San Fran playing from behind, throwing to Debo or Ayuk or Kittle. Look for some receiving props, catching yards from those 3. Even the Kansas City receivers, Kelsey, Juju, and Kelsey were the top receivers last week. I think this is a lot of receiving, a lot of receptions for those 5 guys. Look for those receiving props.
Yeah, I like it. I agree with you. And it'd be really great if you could do targets for those San Francisco wide receivers, because a lot of those balls won't be catchable from Jimmy G. But yes.
Woo! You love Jimmy G, man. Hey, speaking of that kind of stuff, let's banter a little bit. Let's go to fantasy.
Okay.
For all you fantasy managers, are we helping you? Come on, man. Hey, you fantasy managers, let's talk. And we have 2 little games to play with you like usual, the hot and cold game, and then the take or mistake game, which T-Money loves. Hey, we're going to go to hot and cold first. Hot is G-Man giving you someone that's on the bubble. First, they could be a starter. They could be a smart DFS play, very value-oriented. Someone you can put in that flex spot. That's my hot picks. T-Money giving you the guys you should put on your bench, man, or they're going to break your heart if you start them. you better listen to T-Money's cold pick. Hey, I'm going to the hot pick of the week to Marcus Mariota at quarterback against the Bengals defense. T-Money's pick. He talked about it earlier. I'm supporting that. Mariota, 13 of 14, only 14 pass attempts for 129 yards last week, but very efficient. Threw for 2 touchdowns, only 1 incompletion. He added 6 carries for 50 yards. And a touchdown running.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, second straight performance where he did not turn the ball over. He delivered 24 fantasy points. Wouldn't you love that from a guy that you might have on your bench? Playing the Bengals in week 7, should be throwing the ball more. I think so. If he can maintain his efficiency and pick up that volume, Marcus Mariota is a start. My upside quarterback hot pick of the week.
All right. You know, I'm on the Falcons this week. My cold QB of the week, though, is Jacoby Brissett. I know a lot of people got guys on buys like myself with Justin Herbert. Not picking up Jacoby Brissett here. It's projected for 15.8 versus the Ravens. The Ravens are going to be bouncing back after a loss to the Giants. They're going to be upset. There's no more messing around with these guys. They're getting healthier. Marcus Peters is coming back. Jacoby Brissett hasn't been over 15.4 the entire season, and now he's projected 15.8. I know the Ravens secondary is banged up, but he has been getting worse week after week as more tape has been provided to teams on him. So I don't like him this week for Cleveland. It's a division game as well. So the Ravens are going to get up for this one. I don't like Jacoby Brissett. That's my cold QB of the week.
Whoa, nice. Yeah, I do not like the Browns this week, and he could be in trouble. I'm going to surprise you with my hot running back pick of the week, Zeke Elliott. On the bubble. You guys may have him on your bench. You might not, but I think he's on that bubble, but I like him this week. Zeke rushed the ball 13 times for 81 yards last week. He got a touchdown, catching his lone target for 5 yards when they lost to Philadelphia, but he got 16 fantasy points in his best performance of the year. He's averaged 6 yards a rush. He was more efficient this past game than Tony Pollard, and I think he continues in week 7 against the worst rush defense in the league. So if you're playing DFS, Zeke's a great buy on DraftKings, only 6,000. Zeke Elliott, start my upside running back hot pick of the week.
All right. I like it. My cold pick of the week is the same game here, but the other running back, and that's DeAndre Swift.
He's back.
He's coming off an injury, and he's projected for 15 points this game. Dallas, one of, if not the best defense in the league right now. And even when DeAndre Swift was healthy earlier in the year, Jamal Williams was racking up the fantasy points, had double-digit touchdowns in multiple games that DeAndre Swift played in. So I know people are going to rush to start Swift again. I would wait another week because he's going to be most likely on a snap count as well coming off that injury. And Jamal Williams is going to get at least a 50-50 share if I had to make a bet here. So stay away from Swift this week and starting him. I obviously down the road, put him in your lineup. But this week, cold running back of the week.
Okay. So would you not start him then?
I would start him in the flex because I do think he's going to get like 10 to 12. But I would be wary of it just in case, he's on a snap count or doesn't get a touchdown.
Don't expect a high ceiling. Okay, good advice, team on here. Let's go to wide receiver. Randy said it was cold in Arizona. And yes, it is, because Chris Olave is my upside wide receiver of the week. Chris Olave coming off that concussion protocol. He should be good to go. Week 7, we record on Tuesdays. Michael Thomas is out. Jarvis Landry's out. That makes Olave the number 1 receiver here for the Saints. This is a Thursday night game, so be ready, everybody, with your lineups and your DFS plays. Olave is only going for 5,700 on DraftKings. So Chris Olave is a start, my upside wide receiver hot pick of the week.
All right. I like it. Olave's looking like the wide receiver 1 down there right now. My wide receiver cold pick of the week, though, and I know we've been talking a lot about this game, the Niners Chiefs game. I got Brandon Ayuk. He's projected for 12.2. What? Over the Chiefs. Okay. He's not been over 12.9 points other than this past weekend. Don't get it fooled. He is their 4th option. Okay. Run game, Debo, Kittle, then Ayuk. All right. And he has a junior college quarterback throwing him the ball in Jimmy G. So there's not going to be a lot of targets that hit his hand. He had 2 touchdowns. That's a fluke. All right. He's not a big red zone target typically. If he didn't have those touchdowns, it would have been a 16-point game. I don't trust him, even in a potential shootout at the end when the Niners are behind the Chiefs and pass the ball.
Exactly.
I don't see them being able to even throw the ball because the Chiefs know they have to throw the ball.
We have to disagree on this one. You know, that's my player prop. So, man, you and I are disagreeing, man.
I think he's going
to
be
number one receiver last week in fantasy.
Okay, well,
he led the whole league.
That's cute
in fantasy points.
That's cute.
Yeah, well, I don't see how you can discount him here. They're going to throw the ball.
No, he's going to be cold. He's going to be an up and down guy the whole year.
He's an up and down guy.
He's going to be an up and
I
down
think this game script is going to be coming from behind here, and they're going to be throwing.
I think the game script's better when he's not coming from behind because Jimmy G will not be expected to throw the ball.
They were behind last week against the Falcons. That's why they threw so much. The Falcons took the lead.
We'll see.
I think they're up 14-0 or 21-0, and they came back.
We'll see.
Hey, man. All right. Hey, I'm going to give you my DFS lineup anyway, which includes Ayuk, because I told you those wide receivers. I like Ayuk. Olave, I mentioned as someone to go with. For the running backs, I got Zeke. I told you that. I'm going Ken Walker 3. Ken Walker 3 starting to take over there in Seattle, looking good. I've got him in there. Of course, Mariota, the quarterback. I also added CD Lamb with Dak coming back. Add a wide receiver, tight end Kittle with that offense that we think is going to throw the ball against Kansas City. I added Romeo Doubs in Green Bay. Seems to be someone at my flex spot that might get some throws there from Aaron Rodgers. And then the defense put the Bucs up against Carolina with their practice squad quarterback. I think the Bucs could run it up on defense.
All right.
Hey, let's go to our second game. Take or mistake. T-Money loves this. This is a surprise. T-Money doesn't know who I'm going to give him here, giving him 3 players. Is he going to tell us to take the bait, or was this big play last week a mistake and T-Money's not buying it? Going first to the quarterback, Matt Ryan of the Colts. Matt Ryan completed 42 of 58 passes for almost 400 yards, 3 touchdowns and no interception. The Colts come back and beat the Jags last week. Can fantasy managers count on Ryan this week to build that momentum in a week 7 divisional road battle against the Titans? T-Money, is Matt Ryan a take this week as a starter in fantasy lineups, or would that be a mistake?
If it was just top 12 guys, I would say that's a mistake. But I know there's a lot of guys on bye weeks. There's a lot of other backup QBs that are on rosters. So yeah, I think he might be a take as like the 20th best quarterback this week, right? So I think if you need a quick stream and the Tennessee defense doesn't have great DBs, they're not great against the pass. They don't have a big pass rusher either. So I think you could take him as a flyer and hope he repeats, but he has not been performing well fantasy-wise until this week. So I wouldn't trust him to blow it out of the water again. Could he get 17 points versus this team? Sure. And that's what you want in a streamable QB when your main starter is out this week. So
oh man, you're not very high on him though. You say take, but you're not very high. Hey, let's go to running back Kenyon Drake from the Ravens. Drake rushed the ball 10 times for 119 yards and a touchdown in Sunday's loss to the Giants, acting as the team's primary rusher in the second half and ultimately delivering 20 fantasy points in that game. Can fantasy managers count on Drake to continue this level of performance in week 7 against Cleveland? Team Money, is Kenyon Drake a take as a fantasy starter this week, or would that be a mistake?
I think I need to hold on this one till I know the status of J.K. Dobbins. If Dobbins is out, this is 100%. This is an RB2 most likely, not even a flex option. Ramondre Stevenson, when he got basically all the work last weekend, was dynamic versus Cleveland run defense. So I think he's definitely a start if J.K. is limited or not going to start. But if J.K. is in 50-50 split in that backfield, he had 2 very long runs. You heard that he over 10 yards a carry. That's not going to happen. So he kind of had 2 big breakaways. I don't expect that to happen again with Lamar as a runner and JK probably in there too. I wouldn't start him because the touchdowns won't be there either. So I would stay away unless I know JK is out this game.
Okay. Team Money saying it would be a
But
mistake.
roster him.
Hey, let's go to wide receiver. Let's talk about Juju in Kansas City. Yeah, we're talking about Juju. Caught all 5 of his targets for 113 yards and a touchdown in Sunday's loss to the Bills, including a 42-yard catch and run touchdown in the second quarter. Can fantasy managers count on Juju? Look like the number 1 Chiefs wide receiver this week against that 49er defense. Team Money, is Juju a take as a fantasy starter this week, or would that be a mistake?
That is a mistake.
Woo!
I can't really trust any of these receivers because he throws to all of them, and Kelsey's going to get the majority of the targets. He throws to the running backs. It's not about who the best receiver is with this team anymore, like Tyreek, and feeding him the ball. It's about who's open and what the play call is. 5 targets for 100+ yards. It sounds great, but he got 5 targets and he caught them all, right?
Yeah.
Let's pump the brakes. He broke a tackle where 3 guys ran into him. He shouldn't have, and that's what his
They knocked
touchdown
each other
was,
down.
on a 50-yard broken tackle from 3 guys. Not going to happen again. Yeah, he could get 5 targets, catch 4, and have 40 yards, 8-point game. That's what I would expect from him, and that's what he should have had versus the Bills if that broken tackle didn't happen. So I'm not sold on Juju as a wide receiver 1 or even a flex at this point because Chiefs offense just doesn't operate that way anymore. Kelsey is the only guy to start on that offense.
Team Money bringing you the knowledge and the fun in Take a Mistake. Hey, we hope you love the show. We're wrapping up here. We hope you had fun and you got some tips to win your league or win your bets. Make sure you check out all of our segments and shows where you consume your content, and check out at Father, Son, and Holy Sport, or Father, Son, and Holy Sport.com. On behalf of Team Money, I'm G-Man. Enjoy the games and see y'all next week.
All right. Peace.